Oh, hello, my Bell 4000 Nation. How is everyone doing today? We are back. Oh, been a long day. All right. So we are starting off with top 15s, and this one is titled Top 15 Scary Videos That Are Getting a Lot of Attention. A lot of attention. All right, so let's get into it. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cuddle up with someone special. Let's get spooky.
Number 15. You may remember this story from one of my previous videos, where Steve Ronan and his group of friends found a lost girl in a deep underground cave. One of the people with him was fellow YouTuber Exploring with Josh, and we can analyze his footage of the event for more clarity on what happened. The group stumbled upon this scared girl while exploring the cave, and they reunite her with her parents.
That's horrifying. That poor kid. I mean, I remember getting lost in the grocery store when I was little, and that was scary enough. That's terrifying. In a dark freaking cave, all by herself. She don't look very old either, like 8 to 10. Oh. I'd be petrified. I'm just saying. She's a brave child.
What remains unclear is how this girl managed to wander so deep into the cave with no flashlight or supplies.
We're so curious to know what was through this. I don't know. This is crazy, man. It's okay. It's alright. This is the way back.
Numerous news agencies have now covered the story, with none being able to offer an explanation. Nevertheless, she was clearly lost, and if it wasn't for these YouTubers saving the day, she may have never made it out of that cave.
Here's my question. Where's the parents? I mean, was they visiting that area? If they was, okay. I'm a father of 3. Anytime we go anywhere, I know where my children are. Like, I walk behind, my wife walks in front, they are in the middle. If one of them goes past my wife, she hollers up, hey, get back. If one of them slacks behind me, hey, speed up. I know where my kids are. For this little girl to just like be like, I'm dipping, and end up in a cave, what? Oh, people.
Number 14. 2 friends named Bobby and Hayes are hanging out in the living room when this bear enters the house at 12:30 at night and comes straight at them. They both run.
Yeah, no. No. Because you know something, 12:30 night, my hairy butt's in the fridge too. Oh, no. I'd look at it and be like, hey, boo-boo. Got a pick in the basket for you. Please don't eat my face. I make you bacon sandwich. I would have to become friends with the bear. That's just how it is. Yeah.
Away and call for help while the bear instinctively heads to the kitchen. I guarantee you won't guess what it does next, with the humans locked away from sight.
Probably opens the fridge. I don't know. Okay, look, this baffles me. How bears know how to open a refrigerator? I don't understand. They must have like a TV in the woods, and they literally watch Yogi Bear. They're like, hey, I can do that too. It's crazy. It's craziness. Get in your freaking fridge and make a roast beef sandwich. Get out the honey Dijon. Made myself hungry. I'm fat. It's okay.
The wild
It's okay.
animal follows its nose and somehow figures out how to get into the fridge. It opens the door with one smooth motion that makes you wonder how many other refrigerators it has raided before. Its meal of choice is also unexpected, a huge hunk of spicy taco meat. The taco...
Me and this bear could definitely hang. I'm just saying, I like spicy taco meat. No, I seen one story where I don't know if I watch different channels on YouTube. I really like watching a couple of these one channels, and this fella has a cabin. Well, evidently, there's wolves and bears and everything because it's like located in Minnesota, so there is a lot of wildlife. And like his neighbors, yeah, they're like 20 minutes away driving, but they're his closest neighbors. Had a bear come in while the dude had his hearing aids out, asleep upstairs. And, he could kind of hear a ruckus, but he ignored it at first, and then it just got a lot louder. So, he gets up out of bed and is hollering, hey, 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 and all kinds of stuff. And I guess the bear jumps out the window. He said all the bear ate was 4 sticks of butter and some cookies. Then the next night it broke into his garage and ate like a bunch of birdseed or something. That's crazy. The things that bears crave.
Dinner was interrupted after a wildlife ranger kicks open the door with absolutely no fear and hesitation and shoos it from the home. From the looks of it, at one point they stand only about 10 to 15 feet away. Number 13. The news is...
It should have showed which way the bear went. Like, did the bear go out the door where she was at, or did the bear go back out the way it came in? Because it looked like it came from another side of the house, that direction. She brave.
Pretty boring until something totally unexpected like this happens, and you'll never guess what it is. 2 anchors are having a chat when their background gets bizarre.
There's all kinds of people walking. Who cares? Whoa! 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 Okay. I care now. What?
Ordinarily,
What?
I would say this is 2 different shots edited together. However, the crowd seems to stay the same as the man disappears.
Oh,
For
God.
seconds, you can see the individual is crossing from left to right. They come out from the column soon after the man disappears, which indicates this was all one continuous take. Number 12.
That's
This video
crazy.
was supposedly taken by a robotic camera while surveying
That was crazy. Oh, whoa.
an old oil tanker. A school of fish briefly swims in front of the camera, and suddenly one of the fish gets nailed by a spear in front of the camera. Something fast swims by to collect the fish shortly after. Many people believe that this video demonstrates
It was a mermaid. Merman. Mer person. It was something. And let's take this back. Hold on. Let's get a closer look at that spear.
swims by to collect the fish.
Yeah, that looks like a
after.
handmade spear. That was fast.
Many people believe that this video demonstrates the possibility of some kind of adventure.
That looked like someone made that spear. Like it wasn't really how most spears are nowadays, just shiny. Either that fiberglass stuff with the spearhead or metal with that looked like someone made it.
A sea creature who uses tools to hunt. After all, there's no reason for a person to be this far underwater hunting with a spear, and whatever moves in front of the camera is too fast to be a person. Of course, the obvious answer is CGI, but I would love to get your thoughts. This video.
If it's not CGI, that's crazy. Mermaids. Merpeople.
Taken over 3,700 feet underwater, begins with a mysterious symbol gliding across the bottom of the ocean floor. This is obviously strange enough, but things get even weirder after it suddenly transforms. It's some sort of shape-shifting blob with shimmering lights on its head, and apparently it's coming in for a closer look. Whatever the thing is, it seems to be quite curious as it studies the camera for a bit, its lights blinking away all the while. Someone in the comments section says that this is a 10 of 4, though others insist that it's clearly the wrong color along with other discrepancies. Number 11.
I'm not smart enough to tell you what the heck that was.
8 different
I'm not.
states
I'm
across
sorry.
America, from Oregon to New York, have experienced loud booming noises with no detectable origin. All of them cause total panic and sound something like this. Nobody knows what is causing them, but they do appear to give off some kind of strange energy. A doorbell cam in a quiet Rhode Island neighborhood manages to pick up one of the booms, but it's not clear what is going on. Watch this part and let me know if you can tell what caused this. I was thinking it was a blown generator, but it's not. According to the homeowner, no workers came out to fix anything. Also, the exact same thing happened in another Rhode Island town on the same day. The locations are seemingly random, and experts are completely baffled by all of the video evidence so far. An Oklahoma news station randomly captures a low-flying UFO during a cutaway shot shortly before commercial. COKO 5 News later shows this footage to the Science Museum of Oklahoma for verification. Experts there said it was not a meteorite and declared it an actual UFO. The president of another organization, called the Oklahoma Astronomy Society, later said they thought it could be a meteorite, and as with any good UFO sighting, the debate continues to this day. Number 10.
Just because they classify as a UFO does not mean it's aliens. UFO is just an unidentified flying object. That could be anything. Anything. It's just they can't identify it. It's flying and it's an object. Just say. Aliens are real, but that might not have been one.
Like it was intentionally set up to capture something that has been appearing in a closet lately. At first, you can't really see anything, but after a while, the shadows begin to form into a human-like figure. The shadowy shape peeks out from behind the door, and at one point even appears to have 2 bright white eyes. The grainy quality of this video is a strong indication that it was edited. But then again, this may be a very old cell phone video, or perhaps a very early internet.
Or it's a potato. I mean, potatoes were really popular back in the day to videotape things with. You know, you just go out, buy a bag of them, record for hours.
Video that needed to be heavily compressed before uploading. This unexplained shadow was uploaded by a paranormal ghost hunter named K. Owen. I think it could just be a fast-moving insect, especially since this was recorded on a summer night in the South, but according to Kay, this is the spirit of a poltergeist in Kentucky who eventually went on to become quite destructive. If Kay's story is to be believed, then this unexplained shadow is the spirit of a person who took a woman's life in this camper years ago.
If you guys see anything, please leave it in the comment section down below because I don't see Jack.
The deranged paranormal entity would eventually go on to destroy the camper by burning it down just 2 weeks into the paranormal investigation.
You know them potatoes. You can't see Jack. I'm sorry.
Number 9. Bob Osborne flies down a bumpy mountainous road in Bolivia with little concern for his health or safety.
No.
The 7-minute...
No. I don't even want to watch that. That scared the living. That right there, I wouldn't be able to. I don't like heights. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I would have pooed.
Downhill races filled with large rocks like this one. He navigates the obstacle just in time. Look how slow this van is driving. That's the appropriate speed for such a treacherous road, yet it's quickly passed. Keep in mind this vehicle could easily kick a rock straight into their dirt bike at any time and send them careening to their doom. They eventually make it to the bottom of the mountain still in one piece. I just hope Bob Osborne performs regular maintenance on his bike, because this looks like the type of road that could snap a tire clean off at any time. Number 8. This video comes from
Bigger kahunas than I got, that's for sure.
Wolfie's second
For
channel
sure.
called More Wolfie. After enjoying a full day of vacation fun, Wolfie returns to his rented house to find a small mysterious door that's begging for further investigation. He cautiously knocks first and then unlatches the lock.
Oh my god. Yo.
Inside is a deep cavernous tunnel leading further underground. Wolfie stands at the mouth of the entrance and contemplates going inside for a long time.
It's haunted.
Can I go in?
It's haunted.
Is it? I'm stressed.
What do you mean go in?
All of them get a bad feeling at once, but Wolfie shrugs off his fears and bravely crawls face first into the hole. He doesn't make it very far before the urgent need to turn around becomes even more intense than before.
That's it. Not anymore. I'm closing it. We're done, guys. This is freaky.
I still don't know if they were psyching themselves out or if they really did sense a dangerous presence down there. According to them, this tunnel apparently extended way deeper than the average crawl space, so maybe something really was waiting for them at the other end. Number 7.
No.
A YouTuber named Jude the Cool Dude is making a video tour of his house when he discovers something new on the 3rd floor.
Wait. Is that a door?
Concealed behind a hidden wall panel is a cramped room with extremely small furniture, including a tiny table with a single candle for light. Terror spreads across Jude as it dawns upon him that he could very well be standing in the hiding spot of an intruder who has been living here for some time. It even looks like whoever inhabited this place may have rerouted the wiring to divert power to this part of the house. It's almost impossible to tell if this video was staged or legitimate, but with all of the stories I've read about people living in houses for years without being discovered,
I mean, the man's got a point. That would scare the crap out of me. But it could just be like a safe room. That's what we're going with, because the other one is terrifying to think that there's someone living in there. Yeah.
I really wouldn't be surprised if this was real. Either way, Jude decides to quietly close the trapdoor and never mention this find again. A YouTuber named Sunny Cooper has
If I found out there was no one living in there, I would have so much fun in there. It'd be my own secret world.
recorded a shadow moving back and forth that looks out of place. Maybe together we can figure out what this strange shadow belongs to. It starts out going one direction, then it comes back the other way.
Looks like a cat.
It almost looks like a rat or a small animal of some sort, but that still doesn't explain how it appears to instantly teleport across.
It's not this. The light right here is just so bright. It's canceling out the shadow. That's. Let's be logical here now, Chills. Come on, bud.
A large gap twice. I guess this could just be some sort of time-lapse editing, but something about the way the shadow moves looks like it was recorded in real time. Let me know if you have any explanation for what's happening here. Number 6.
Yeah, it is.
This gray fish is frozen solid and obviously not moving at all. Yet within 20 seconds of being put in this liquid solution, something bizarre happens. I'm pretty sure this is nothing more than warm water, but maybe there's some sort of chemical in it that can bring frozen animals back to life. Then again, maybe this fish just hibernates for the winter and comes back to life naturally when the temperature warms. Let me know what you think is going on here, and if you think what you've seen is a miracle like the uploader of this video claims. I'm not sure where this video was taken, but it looks like an open-air seafood market. A giant fish on the end.
I don't know. What? The
It's bigger than any of the others and has been attracting onlookers all day. If this person had simply purchased it or moved on like everyone else, then this video would never need to be analyzed by me. Instead, they tap it twice with the corner of their smartphone, like it's the tire of a used car. The second tap is close to the eye, which I think triggers a nervous system response. It was completely motionless before, and its gills were not moving, so I don't think it was truly alive. Still, they should have kept their hands off the merchandise. I wonder if the store owners made them pay. Anyway, here it looks like the fish actually manages to get the phone into its without a doubt slimy mouth, so they should probably just give up and get a new phone along with a new dinner. Number 5. This video was reportedly
I would never eat fish again.
taken by a Navy patrol boat off the coast of Chile in South America. What appears to be a gigantic, slow-moving UFO is soon confirmed by both the Navy and a nearby air traffic control tower to not be one of their own. I was thinking maybe this was an ordinary blimp or a helicopter, until it emits some kind of inky mystery substance at the 8-minute 18-second mark. The camera cuts away for a bit, and then approximately 5 seconds later, you can see the substance has solidified into a thick, clumpy mass. As if that isn't weird enough, the UFO then detaches itself from the mass, which hangs completely suspended in midair, and keeps on going until it's no longer in sight. I have certainly never seen an aircraft do that before, and it doesn't look normal at all.
It's not normal.
If this is
I don't like that.
not edited, then I have little doubt that this visitor is from another planet entirely. In 2013, a camera on a weather tower detected something very abnormal hovering over Lincoln, which is the capital of Nebraska. Look in the bottom right-hand corner to see it.
Just before 6 a.m. on September 4th, KLKN's HD Tower Cam 8 gave
The station's local meteorologist had no explanation for the UFO. He went on to say that he does not believe it was a weather-related incident and therefore is unqualified to comment on what it could be. A Lincoln resident caught this flashing object on tape the same morning and sent it into the news network. By the time the sun came up, the UFO was gone without a trace.
Channel 8 viewer captured similar footage.
It's an unidentified object.
Number 4. A YouTuber named S.E. Styles is camping in the woods of Hinton, Canada, when he...
That could have been I don't know. That could have been I don't know.
He hears the last thing that anyone wants to hear just outside of their tent. A lone wolf's howl pierces through their conversation and renders both S.E. Styles and his friend silent as night sets in. They soon realize they are vastly outnumbered. If anyone watching this happens to be an animal wildlife expert, I'd like to know if these wolves were howling because they were aware of the human presence nearby, or if this was for some other reason. Perhaps this was a warning to S.E. Styles not to come any closer, although I'm sure he and his friend did not need any extra convincing.
No, like normally that's something that would make you poo, but that howl was far enough away to where no. I've been camping a lot, and that's you go camping in places where there's wolves and bears and stuff, you're going to hear stuff. More likely you're not going to see anything, but you will hear stuff. I'm just saying.
3. A YouTuber called Survival Life tracks a gigantic snake across his local soccer field. I'm guessing that he must have been using a selfie stick to get this up close, but then again, it wouldn't surprise me if his hands and fingers were only inches away when this happened. Eventually, Survival Life backs off and leaves the snake alone, and I'm curious as to what kind of snake this was. I can tell by the tropical tree line that this video was taken somewhere near a jungle, in which case this snake could definitely be poisonous.
It's got
Some
a
of
thick
Survival
neck.
Life's fans are saying that this was a cobra, and I just wanted to confirm what type of cobra this was. That way, we would know if Survival Life was risking a hospital trip or even his life here. Wintertime should be relatively snake-free,
Screw that.
yet here one is slithering
The boy had falls for days. No.
across the ice in the middle of February. The cold-blooded reptile somehow crosses the frozen pond and then moves towards the camera with slow determination. I'm not sure what type of snake this is or how it's able to survive these low temperatures. My guess is it was probably hibernating somewhere and got disturbed. But either way, a snake of this size is nothing to mess with no matter what the season. This video was taken somewhere on Kent Island in Maryland. If there are any more winter snake sightings in this area, then I'd say something strange is definitely going on over there. Number 2, Sean
It's a Christmas snake.
Baker noticed this strange thing living in his backyard not too long ago, and now the situation has become too large for him to ignore any longer.
Started out as a little white, regular mushroom, and now it's grown into something demonic.
Whatever it is, one thing is for sure. The strange-looking mass is able to withstand a lot of punishment.
Yes. Like it's bleeding.
It oozes some sort of weird sludge in response to his attacks that I really hope is not toxic. Even with the help of a 2x4, Sean Baker is ultimately unable to bust the thing open or pry it loose from the earth. He curses the seemingly permanent growth in his backyard and ends the video in disgust. This almost certainly has to be some sort of rare fungus in my opinion, though I'm not sure what kind.
That or
Then again,
simple
maybe it
that simple
really is
left in
from
the
somewhere
pot. Just
far
took out there
away,
and
like
dumped in
Sean
the
Baker
yard.
seems to believe, perhaps even space. I'm hoping that together we can identify exactly what this
I mean, does or does not look like something like he cooked and left in the pot for like a month and then just took out there and just dumped it in his yard. That's what it looks like. I'm sorry, that's what it looks like.
thing is, and more importantly, how to get rid of it.
The size of this thing. We found him outside. He was frozen.
A YouTuber named Ben Northern is walking up his driveway when something on the ground stops him. He stares in puzzled disbelief and then realizes it's a giant arachnid sticking out of the snow. The glass jar could be making the spider look bigger than it really is, but here you can see it's almost the size of a finger. If someone is able to identify this spider, we can figure out how much of a threat it really is. Also, maybe it's just me, but it kind of looks like the spider moves a couple of times here. Perhaps it's just warming up and reawakening. I've got a challenge for you.
I got a
Since
challenge for you since you made it this far. Should be close.
Follow button to find out. Number 1. This perplexing UFO sighting was taken during a Fox News broadcast on the same day as President Obama's inauguration.
Keep it here as our special coverage of Inauguration Weekend continues.
Two glowing lights appear to be to the right of the Washington Monument, followed by a pale orb-like UFO. The UFO almost looks transparent and metallic as it comes into sight for only a moment and then fades away. Some people are saying that this is a camera malfunction.
I mean, very well
The
could.
two
I mean,
red
there's
lights on the monument itself.
2 red lights on the thing, and then there's those 2 lights. Yeah.
So, I would definitely like to hear more about this possible malfunction. If someone could explain it to me. Thanks for checking out this video.
Yeah, we'll go with malfunction. We have to. It's just how it is. Alright, let's go with top 10s. Nuke's top 5. Top 10 scary video of ghosts, creepy things. That's what's house.
Top 10 scary videos of ghosts and creepy things. The Road to Nowhere. Paranormal investigators from the YouTube channel Paranoiacs travel to a secluded forest road in the mountains of Germany. The roadway is said to be haunted by the restless spirit of a young woman named Elizabeth, who tragically passed away in an accident on the road over 40 years ago. Locals refer to the ghost that haunts the roadway as, quote, the woman in black. The Paranoiacs are driving down the lone forest road in hopes of capturing anything supernatural on camera. What happens next is downright chilling.
Abi o ne?
Whoa.
Orada birisi mi vardı, bana böyle geldi.
Abi o neydi?
Öne gitti biraz, öne doğru.
Çıkalım mı?
No, there's someone there, bro. I would not be getting out of the vehicle. That looked evil.
Nereye gitti Cemal?
Ya ben mi yanlış gördüm? Ama bir şey vardı orada.
Ben de bir şey gördüğüm gibi son anda sanki böyle.
Aynen son.
Gölge sandım. Dikkat et. Daha ışıkları çıkartma.
Abi burada olması gerek. Baksana. Nereye gidecek?
Buraya doğru insan çıkamaz ki.
A strange woman dressed in all black can be seen standing at the side of the road.
That's
The
creepy.
Paranoiacs team is shocked and quickly back up their car, but the woman has just disappeared. They get out of their car and search,
Nope.
but
Nope.
she's nowhere to be
Nope.
found. 3
Nope.
months later, and the Paranoiacs team return to the same road and bring along friends. They park their car, set up a static camera, and set out to explore. But while they are away, their static camera captures something truly terrifying.
Whoa. Is that someone walking? It is. Like, you can see the legs moving. Barely. What the heck was that, bro?
As the static camera records, a translucent apparition walks across the road and disappears into thin air.
Nope.
When the
Nope.
Paranoiacs
Nope.
team returns, they don't see anything or anyone around.
Mm.
They don't even discover what they have captured
Nope.
until later when they review their footage.
Nope.
So
I
could
don't
this
care.
be the spirit of Elizabeth?
Yeah, don't make it in.
Woman in black.
I would not be there.
Endlessly
I'm sorry, I
wandering
wouldn't
and
know.
lost on the lone
That would have
forest
scared the
road.
crap out of me enough.
Let me know what you think. You can find more spooky
I don't
videos
like
over
that.
on the YouTube channel Paranoia,
I don't like that.
A Sixth Sense. In another strange video,
No.
Reddit user ACC6894 says that his brother's girlfriend has 2 German shepherds. A CCTV camera records the dogs who have been left home alone one night. They begin to act very strangely. And then this happens. The dogs seem disturbed by something in the corner of the room. Then suddenly a chest drawer comes flying out at them, startling the poor doggies. Reddit user ACC6894 has no idea what happened to the dogs and believes the CCTV might have recorded something paranormal. But what do you think happened here? Let me know.
Hold on.
Ghost Hunter Robert from the...
Let's go back. Okay. Watch the mirror. Because I don't know if it's capturing like the dogs moving or if there's someone else there. Because watch. Yeah, watch it. Yeah, that's
the
the dog.
dogs
Okay.
seem disturbed by something in the corner of the room. Then suddenly a chest drawer comes flying out at them, startling the poor doggies.
That poor puppy. No. Don't bother the poopies.
The user ACC6894
Look how sweet they
has
look.
no idea what happened to the dogs and believes the CCTV might have recorded something paranormal. But what do you think happened here? Let me know.
I would never leave my puppies alone again.
Home. Ghost hunter Robert from the paranormal investigation team Para Evident claims that ever since they went to the allegedly haunted Montanay Hotel in Arkansas on an investigation, something seems to have followed him home to his apartment. He says his lights flicker, electronic devices turn on and off on their own, and creepiest of all, he's seen horrifying apparitions in his home. The entire Para-Evident team decide to investigate the haunting in Robert's home. During the investigation, Robert and team member Joshua set up an SLS camera and begin to ask questions through a Spirit Box phone app. What happens next is truly bizarre.
Was that the cream soda, Dr. Pepper? It is. Okay. That stuff is amazing. The Dr. Pepper cream soda? Love it. Love it.
Can you show yourself?
Did you see it? A pale figure can be seen passing by the TV in Robert's bedroom. Strangely enough, the apparition can only be seen on the SLS camera. Josh and Robert have no idea what this bizarre figure could be, and they believe it just might be the dark entity that's haunting Robert's apartment.
I'd move.
But what do you
Burn him
think?
down.
You can find more very spooky videos over on the YouTube channel, Para Evident.
Nope.
Evident, spelled with the 3. House tour, gone wrong.
I would have burnt that apartment down. That house, wherever it was, I would have burnt it to the ground.
Noob's Top 5 viewer Paul sent in a video he recorded at his home in Glasgow, Scotland. Paul says that since his family moved into their new home, they've been hearing odd noises during the night and have had the strange feeling that they're just not all.
Dude, that's Scotland. I don't think there's a part of Scotland that's not haunted. Scotland, Ireland, all them places like that, they got like some amazing lore and a lot of history. And I'm a firm believer. The more historic, the older places are, the more hauntings there is there, because so many things that happen throughout history, it leaves an imprint. It does. Like, that's just what I believe.
Paul has just always shrugged it off. But one day, Paul is recording a video of their new house to show his aunt, and things take a terrifying turn.
Hi, Joe. Just thought I'd show you a quick tour of the house.
Oh, God, it was a cat.
This is the hallway, actually, and the cupboard's nothing much in there. It's not very big, but it's all right. Stairs to upstairs. I'll show you that in a bit. Show you the bathroom first. So, it's all right, isn't it? Got a proper bath, sink and toilet. That's it. What more do you want? Nothing else. Got a shower there as well. It's all right. It's nice and clean. I quite like it. You know. I'll show you the kitchen first. So you come in the living space, turn left, it's the kitchen. It's not very light. It's not very good. So yes, we've got a whole bunch of washing machines. It's quite a big old kitchen actually. If you have a look. So we haven't actually got 2 fridge freezers. This one broke down a few months ago. We just haven't been able to get rid of it. It's too big to fit in the car and that. But other than that, yeah. Little garden out the back. We built the shed last summer. That's right. But I like this. Fair, so it's got that breakfast bar and the oven and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so
It's got a nice little place.
Little front of our house. That's supposed to be a little driveway with it should have a drop curb, but it hasn't. Evie, she's been jumping up on the surfaces quite a bit. Someone ever got spooked then. Oh man, you're having some sort of laugh, Nick. You see that?
Paul hears the sudden sound of a broom falling in his kitchen, and when he goes to check it out, all the cabinet doors have suddenly opened. Paul can't believe what he has witnessed and just stops recording. In his email, Paul explains that he was pretty spooked by the experience. And, well, who wouldn't be? So,
screw the breakfast nook in the shed you built. I've been gone, bruh. No. I didn't see no cuts in it anywhere. I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, it could have been like in the turn, but I wouldn't know.
What would you do
No.
if this were to happen to you?
I would get a box of matches, a jug of gasoline, and as I say, boom, go the dynamite.
Let me know down in the comments. Before we move on to the next video, if you see anything that you think should be included in the top 5, contact us at nukestop5@gmail.com. Imaginary friend. TikTok user Genevieve Swafford claims that 4 years ago she recorded a video when she suddenly heard her young daughter Lauralee talking to someone, even though they were the only ones at home at the time. Years go by, and eventually Genevieve goes back through her old videos and is shocked when she discovers that she might have actually captured what?
The dangers of shaving your head, people. I cut it myself. Ow.
Her young daughter was talking to.
It was.
Lauralee, come here.
I know that's just a random thing, but like it was itchy, and I did that, and it hurt, and ow, ow. It's not bleeding. It's just ow. I hate it when that happens. It's like having a paper cut.
Lauralee, who are you playing with? What are you doing?
Her mom Genevieve doesn't seem to see, but it looks like a shadow walks right behind little Lauralee. Genevieve asks her daughter who she's playing with, but the girl has no answer. So could it be that Genevieve's house is haunted and her daughter could see the spirit? Maybe even talk to it? Or could this video just be an elaborate TikTok hoax?
I'm gonna go with TikTok hoax, but I mean, she could have 2 daughters. She could have 2. That could have been a friend, a cousin, a relative, family. You know, could have been a lot of different things. That's just me being rational. Okay, now here's the other side of the argument. It's a ghost and you're all going to die.
You decide. Creepy crawler. This next strange video was emailed to me by Mohammed Al-Badri from the city of Aden in Yemen. Mohammed claims that his friend was driving home when he spotted something absolutely terrifying. The man allegedly pulled out his phone and started to record.
أنا شفته ورا برميل الزبالة. أيوة شكله رعب والله.
I'm calling bull. That's some eight-legged freak stuff right there. I ain't believing it. I ain't believing it for a moment. I ain't doing it. You know how petrified I'd be right now if I actually did believe that was real? Like, I'm not scared of spiders. If they're small enough for me to step on, I'm not scared of it. I ain't trying to step on that. So, I don't believe it. That is too big. I'm calling bull.
A horrifying pale creature with 6 legs comes scurrying out from behind a dumpster. Mohammed's friend is shocked and quickly just gets out of there. Now, I'm in no way saying that this is real, but it's definitely very creepy, and if fake, it's very well done. So, is it real?
It's fake.
Or is it all?
Okay, one, let me tell you how I know it's fake. There's no shadow being cast off of it.
Just an elaborate hoax.
The shadow is completely wrong. The shadow, the light little shadow that's just kind of like around it, right where it's at, is completely wrong. The way it would be is the shadow would be huge from the headlights going straight back from it. Like here it is. It'd be like whoosh.
Off the grid. YouTuber Kevin Lake and his wife Dearly from the YouTube channel Homesteading Off the Grid have made their home on a remote patch of land in
I think I've seen
Virginia.
this.
After moving to their new secluded country.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we've seen this one. I think they hear like screaming or howling or something in the woods while they're doing stuff. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me. I'm pretty sure we've seen this one.
They began to notice strange things in the woods around them. One day, Kevin's neighbor is taking a walk through the woods near their property line, and he starts to notice movement in the forest. He takes out his phone and begins to record, and he soon spots something truly bizarre.
Maybe it's just like a homeless person living off the land. Maybe someone camping. Maybe someone who got lost in the woods. Maybe you should ask them if they need help. Okay, rational side. Now, unrational side, that's evil. You need to run. Throw your phone at it. Don't look back. I'd shot it. I'd shot it in the face.
Someone or something appears to be skulking around in the woods near a cave, just watching the man. Curious viewers of Kevin's channel believe it could be anything from a hiding squatter, a hunter, a backpacker, and then there are some viewer explanations that are a bit more out there, like claims that this is a skinwalker or a Sasquatcher, or even an entity wearing an invisibility cloak. Either way, Kevin and his neighbor have no idea who or whatever this is and why it would be on their property. Back to church.
Okay, I'm pretty sure those same people will have things where people are hollering in the woods, so... yeah. Go back through my videos. It's one of them. That's kind of a plug for you guys, so what's on my video? No, but seriously, in one of my videos, I'm pretty sure those same people, I forget which one it is. It's not been too long ago, so it's within the last few videos. I'm pretty sure. They have heard like howling or screaming, like weird howling and screaming in the woods while they're out doing stuff. I want to say 97% sure. If you do go back through the videos and watch, leave down in the comment section below. That way we all know, because I don't want to do.
A while ago, I featured paranormal investigators David and Dell from the YouTube channel Signs and Signals. The two friends have been investigating an allegedly haunted church in Chester, South Carolina that is over 200 years old. Long ago, in the early 1900s, it's believed that the church was the site of dark ritualistic ceremonies. David and Dell hadn't gone back to the church for a long...
And I'm pretty sure I've seen this one too. And I'm pretty sure, I know I did a video on this one if it's the same one. It's not been very, it's on like 3 videos ago. If it's the one with the candle in the window and the shadow, we've seen it.
Time until one day they happened to drive through the city of Chester and recorded something bizarre that they still can't explain.
Yep.
Dude, it's a candle.
Alright. Go ahead and tell you. Right there. It goes.
After the terrifying experience, David and Dell decided to go back to the church for one more late night.
Okay, there's more, so there's more. Don't fast forward. Just don't. I didn't know there was more to this one. I'm glad I didn't fast forward it because I was this close.
Investigation. Not long after entering the creepy building, the two friends witnessed something truly chilling.
Let me just grab the camera. Hello?
You should not be cussing that much in a church.
That's what I told you.
A chair slides across the floor completely on its own. And the guys decide to take a break outside to gather their courage before continuing their investigation. Eventually, they head back inside and sit down on the church pews. They begin to ask questions of the entity that may be haunting the building. And something seems to answer.
That's where you must don't talk to the demons in the church. They might talk back.
So we know you're here, and we're respectful of you.
Oh, you're sitting there cussing it in the church. We're being respectful. Beep, 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 beep. No, beep. That's all you hear.
Just talk to us. There's something that you want to tell us, I guess, right?
You'll die.
If you can understand me, I want you to knock once for yes and twice for no. You understand me?
It throws one of those flags out of his face.
I know you heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So why are you here?
As David and Dell record, a dark shadow-like mass seems to walk past the doorway right in front of them. Now, the two guys didn't even notice the figure until they reviewed their footage later.
There's just
the investigation. The two friends have decided not to return to the church.
I don't like that at all. No.
Just let you guys know that we might slow down on going to the church as often. Things have been going on in our personal lives since we've been going back there more. Me and David are starting to have experiences in our own houses, and it's really annoying when you can't get good sleep at home because you'll be waking up in the middle of the night to bangs. You're thinking, oh, somebody's breaking into my house. Nobody's there. Nothing's in there. Nobody's awake. Startles everyone. Hopefully just kind of straying away from the church a little bit might help because it really only started to heat up once we started to go there.
So did David and Dell capture real paranormal activity on camera at the church?
It's like stepping in gum, dude. You're taking it with you. And it's a pain to get off. I'm just saying. It don't matter if you stuck going to a church or not. You're stuck with it.
Know what you think. You can watch more footage and investigations at the haunted church over on their YouTube channel, Signs and Signals. A Walk in the Woods. One very early morning before daybreak, Nick Foster takes his cute little dog, Poppy, into the woods near his home and records a video of Poppy chasing squirrels through the dark forest.
Cute.
Later, when Nick looks back at his video, he notices something that gives him the creeps.
This way.
Right before Nick stops recording, someone or something can be seen in the woods right in front of him. Nick says he was completely alone and no one else would have been there in the hours when he recorded this footage.
I mean, that looked like an older lady. I mean, it looked like, you know, how they have the little scarves that they tie around their head and all that good stuff, and it's kind of like it's walking with a cane. It looked like it had a bag. And I know, how can I say this without sounding rude? I know a lot of older people, and they get up early. Like, my grandmother would go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and be up at like 1 in the morning, cooking breakfast and stuff. And then, like, weekends, she'd stay up late to like 5, 6 o'clock. No, okay. When she finally retired, she worked for her school. She was a cook. When she finally retired, she would stay up so late, she would watch the 6 o'clock news. Just saying. That's, yeah.
Nick says he's very skeptical of the paranormal, but he does believe
it looks
that
like
he
an older
might
lady.
have captured an apparition. So could this strange pale figure be a ghost?
Mean to people in any way, shape, or form.
For a stroll through the dark woods. And strangely,
it looks like an older lady.
All dressed in white. Let me know what you think.
This way.
The Secret Shadow. Paranormal researcher Crisel Luna sets out to investigate an abandoned house, now turned into a warehouse, in Michoacan, Mexico. The house was left abandoned after the owner, an elderly woman who lived there her whole life, passed away a few years ago. The old building is now used as a warehouse to store grains, and many local workers claim to have seen the terrifying apparition of a woman aimlessly wandering the property. One night, Crisel and her friend Melissa investigate the warehouse, but besides some odd noises, they don't really experience or capture much of anything. However, when Crisel posts her video to YouTube, many of her viewers spot something in her video footage that she didn't even notice. Something very creepy.
Ahorita vamos a ingresar ahí dentro para que ustedes puedan ver, pero sí me gustaría, pedir la presencia. Es algo que he estado haciendo últimamente, pedir la presencia de este ser, de los seres que ya no están en este mundo, que ya están en el más allá, y que de alguna forma estoy escuchando ruidos ahí adentro. Estoy escuchando ruidos ahí. A ver si logramos ver algo. Ay, escucho ruido. ¿Quién anda ahí? No sé si aquí tengan un gato, un perro, se están escuchando ruidos extraños. Escuchen. ¿Quién anda aquí? Ay, no hay nada. Aquí se estaban escuchando los ruidos.
Did you see it? Crisel has just started her investigation when an unexplained dark figure can be seen walking.
It's a good thing that wasn't me, because if I would have seen that, I I threw my camera at it, I would have ran away screaming. All thing you would hear is, "Ah!" and my big butt running.
Inside the abandoned home, neither Chriselle or her friend see the creepy apparition, but they can both hear strange noises coming from inside. But when they go in and inspect the room, there's just no one there. So did Chriselle capture the old woman that is said to haunt the property? I guess we'll never know. You can watch more spooky investigations over on the YouTube channel, Chriselle Luna. Thanks for watching. Please follow me on the Insta here and the tweets here.
All right, what we got next? Let's do a little life of luxury. This one's called Catching the Stalker Who's Been Living in Her Basement.
They're in here right now.
Dude, she went crazy. We were in there. We didn't see or hear anything.
For this episode, we received...
For this episode, we received a report from our old decoy actress, Victoria. She thinks that after we filmed those videos with her, someone found where she lives and has been breaking into her house. Victoria, who is supposed to be living alone, has been hearing creaking noises at night. Along with this, she thinks that she's in danger. So today we're going to drive out to Victoria's house to talk to her and try to get to the bottom of this. But first,
that would be horrifying.
Word from our sponsor.
I'm trying to listen to my music, but these homemade headphones suck. I wish I could afford new ones.
Just use Zap Surveys.
Zap Surveys? What's that?
Zap Surveys is a free app on iOS and Android where you take online surveys and earn money without even
Okay, like I was saying, that would be terrifying to do, because I watch some of those ones and they do try to catch predators and stuff like that. If, you know, they're 9 times out of 10 just bull, because, you know, I mean, dramatizations, I guess. But just to think, I mean, when this really happens, like in real life, they do How to Catch a Predator. What if someone figures out who that person is and either gets out of prison or doesn't get arrested, but their life is ruined because of it, and they find out who you are, where you're at? That would be freaking terrifying. It would.
So what are your thoughts on the situation? Dude, what do you think the chances are that someone's actually coming in?
I don't know, dude. Pretty low, but that doesn't really change anything.
What?
My point is, we don't really know if her situation is any different. That's why we're investigating.
I just think she got too paranoid after we filmed those videos.
Yeah, but still we have an obligation to investigate.
Dude, I guess I really just want to waste our time.
Dude, we're not wasting time if we're helping someone.
You gotta love Chester's enthusiasm sometimes.
Alright, let's knock on the door. Is this the right place? Dude, all the lights are off. Hi. Victoria, nice to see you again.
Hey.
Gotta be quiet. Okay. So, Victoria, can you tell us a little bit about...
Shh, can you please quiet down?
Quiet down? Why do you want us to be quiet?
I don't know if they're in here right now.
What? Who's they?
The person that's been coming in here.
So you think that there's someone living in here with you?
Ever since we did those videos, I've been hearing stuff in my house, like things have been moved around, creaking in the floors.
Do you think someone, followed you?
I don't know, maybe.
Victoria, are you doing all right? You seem a little paranoid.
Yeah, but
if you guys were in my situation, you'd be paranoid too.
So do you have any proof of someone actually being in here with you?
Well, not physical proof. Guys, I've called the police like 4 times. They can never find anything. But I know he's in here. I can hear him walking at night. I didn't know what else to do. That's why I called you guys.
All right, Victoria, listen. We're going to try to help you.
Did you guys hear that?
No. Victoria, listen. This is what we're going to do. All right? Please, listen. We're going to set up really tiny cameras all around your house. We're going to record each room to see if we see anything unusual, and then we're going to watch the footage in the morning. All I need you to do tonight is just act normally, go to sleep, and just relax. And we'll come back here in the morning, and we'll watch the footage to see if we can find anything.
You guys are leaving?
I have a doctor's appointment in the morning.
Listen, you're just a little bit paranoid right now, okay?
Okay, whatever.
All right, let's go. All right, we'll see you in the morning.
Dude, I think this girl's crazy.
Bro, don't say that yet.
Don't say that yet. Wait till we know for sure she's cuckoo.
What do you think about what she said?
Dude, she went crazy. We were in there. We didn't see or hear anything.
I don't know, dude, but she seemed pretty scared.
I think she's just too paranoid. I don't think we can give her the kind of help she needs.
All right, let's just watch the footage in the morning, and then we'll find out what's actually going on.
Who's that? It's Victoria. Oh, don't answer it, dude.
Dude, we gotta answer it. Hello?
What? Just hurry. Yo, get out of the house.
She hung up.
Dude, we gotta turn around.
Yo, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Turn around, turn around. Whoa.
Yo, how many miles away are we?
31 miles.
All right, sorry.
She is acting very paranoid.
Oh my god! Hey! Hold there! Turn around! Turn around!
What the hell?
Yo, is this dude wearing a mask? Yo, take off that mask.
Yeah.
Listen, yo, take off that mask for the make us take it off, dude. Please, sir, just take off the mask. It's your last chance. Take it off or call the police. Sir, now can you please tell me why you've been terrorizing this girl for months?
Hey,
sir,
get away from
explain
her.
yourself.
Maurice?
What'd you say?
Oh my god.
Victoria, do you know this guy?
He used to take pictures of my feet in class.
What?
Yeah, and we also went on a couple
Stop, don't touch her. Victoria, why don't you sit up here?
Come over here.
No, not you. No, Maurice or whatever your name is, I still have no background on this. Can you explain why you've been terrorizing her for 3 months?
I don't wanna, no, I just, can I just speak to Victoria alone?
No, I don't want to talk to him.
All right. Just explain to us why you've been coming in here wearing that mask.
Well, listen, Victoria.
Stop, stay there. Stop. Just explain yourself. Hurry up, dude. Come on.
I love you, and I want to get back together.
Oh my god.
Victoria, did you really date this guy?
It was a dark time in my life.
Just because she went on a couple dates with you in the past doesn't give you the right to... Why were you wearing that mask in the first place?
What color are they painted right now?
Are you serious?
Dude, what is wrong with you?
What, her toes? What?
All right, Victoria, listen. What we're gonna do? We're gonna take this guy to the police station.
No.
If you want to come with us, Maurice, you can stay up by yourself.
Just stop. Just stop.
What?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
What do you mean it's fine?
Just let him stay.
Victoria, you can't possibly be okay with this creep staying with you.
Guys,
After what he's done.
just leave. Okay? This is my house. I've got this. Just go.
Listen, we're just trying to look out for the best
Look,
for you.
guys.
You've been
It's time for you to leave.
Okay, you have my number. What the hell? Just go, dude. What they do? Let's just get on it.
I think they're alone. Dude, I told you she was crazy.
I don't understand the way the world works anymore, dude.
Let's just go home.
We drove home and set this behind us. Oh, God.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again for almost 500,000 subs on Life of Luxury. You guys, the Lux Army, really mean.
That was a little much. I'm sorry. It was. I don't know how to feel about it. Oh, God. Alright. Now, as per usual, we are going to end things with a Mr. Ballen. This one is Mr. Ballen's. This is what happens when you touch a toxic metal. Oh, God.
Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, and today we're going to look at 3 stories that demonstrate that. But before we get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload 2 or 3 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please change the like button's default internet browser to Microsoft Edge. Also, please subscribe to our channel. And
He always says weird stuff. Oh, Mr. Ballen.
In 2019, Meg Moorer was a 21-year-old senior at Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana. She was studying ecology and evolutionary biology and planned to pursue a career in scientific illustration after graduation. This was a field that combined her skill as a scientist, her incredible artistic ability, and her general love of nature. But despite her intellectual brilliance, what Meg was actually known for was her very uplifting personality. When her mother was asked what her daughter was like, she said, well, it's like trying to describe what it's like to feel the warmth of the sun. There are not words to accurately describe what that feels like. And that was Meg. She was radiant, she was joyous, she was adventuresome, she was kind, she was really just a wonderful person to be around. In March of that year, just 2 months before their graduation, Meg and 2 of her close friends decided to go on a trip for spring break. This would be their last spring break as students, and they wanted to enjoy it. Because they were...
I don't like where this is going already. I don't know what it is, but something bad's going to happen to Meg. I feel it. Feel it in my bones. Poor Meg.
All in excellent physical condition, they decided they would spend the week hiking in Georgia. When Meg told her family about her big plans, they could tell she was extremely excited, and they just told her, be safe and we'll see you when you get back. On the morning of their departure, which was March 5th, Meg packed her suitcase into the trunk of her small green sedan, and then she drove over to her 2 friends' apartment building, and they came out and they put their suitcases into the car, and then once the car was all packed and all 3 of them were inside, they hit the road. The drive from Tulane University to this area in Georgia where they'd be hiking took about 8 hours if you didn't stop. But none of them were in a particularly big rush, and so they figured they would just stop along the way, and if they got to Georgia super late at night, so be it. After being on the road for 2 hours without stopping, they all needed to use the bathroom. And so Meg decided to pull over at the first rest stop she saw. And the first one she saw was in this residential town in Mississippi called Gaucher. So she pulls off the highway into this very nondescript rest stop, and all three of them get out. They go into the main building and they use the restroom. Meg was the first one to be done, so she came outside and she waited right near the bathroom door. And then her two friends, they finished up as well. They came out, and then the trio began walking back towards the parking lot where Meg's car was. At the same time, a man driving an 18-wheeler tractor-trailer truck was bombing down the highway right outside of this rest stop. And right before he was going to pass the area where this rest stop was, he heard something fall off the back of his truck. He instinctively checked both of his mirrors to see if maybe he could see what had fallen off, but he didn't see anything in the road, and so he just pulled over onto the shoulder and got out to see what was going on. When he walked towards the back of his truck, he expected to see, maybe one of the back doors had popped open or something like that. But even before he made it to the back of his truck and could even look at those back doors, he already knew what had fallen off the truck. 2 of his back tires were just gone. This truck had what's called dual rear wheels, which meant on the axle there was not just one wheel on each side. Instead, there were 2 wheels on each side, so 4 wheels across one axle. And so each of these 2 wheels were bolted together and would turn at the same time and kind of functioned like one big fat tire. This gave the truck more stability and safety when it was towing. The driver, in a panic, looked back down the road in the direction he had just come, hoping to just see the tires somewhere, but they weren't anywhere to be found. And so, not really knowing what to do, he just instinctively called his boss and told him what was going on. And his boss just said, "Hold tight, I will send help out to you." And so this driver is left to just stand on the side of the road and wait for help to arrive. And so as he's doing that, he's just staring back down the road in the direction he had just come, as if these tires are just going to magically appear. And as he's looking in this direction, he starts to notice on the other side of the highway, there are police cars and ambulances streaming into a rest stop that he had just passed. And it was the rest stop where Meg and her 2 friends had been. It would turn out when these 2 tires became dislodged from this truck, they went careening across the highway to the other side, across oncoming traffic, all the way up into this rest stop, and they crashed directly into Meg right as she was climbing back into her car. These 2 tires combined weighed almost 1,000 pounds. And so the impact killed Meg. She was pronounced dead on the scene. After an investigation, it was not conclusively determined what actually caused these tires to fall off. The likely cause was...
Oh my God. I knew it. I didn't know this. I knew it. Meg was too sweet. I knew something was going to happen to her. But, oh, sweet baby Jesus. That's... Oh, Mr. Ballen.
They were missing a small part known as a locking washer that costs $3 and is very easy to acquire. But regardless, at this point, the incident is considered a freak accident.
So over something that only costs $3 to buy, probably not much, not very difficult to put on, a poor girl lost her life. And it's classified as a freak accident.
In January of 1997, a very accomplished and Ivy League trained American chemist named Karen Wetterhahn started experiencing tingling in her lower extremities. Now, it was uncomfortable, but it wasn't enough discomfort to warrant going to a doctor or really being concerned about it. She figured it was just something kind of minor and it would go away on its own. But shortly after this tingling began, Karen started noticing she was having balance issues. She would be walking down the hallway at the university where she worked when inexplicably she would just lose her balance and start stumbling and would either fall to the ground or would have to lean up against the wall to steady herself. She tried to convince herself that she was just being clumsy or that she was just really tired and that's what was causing it. But shortly after these balance issues presented themselves, Karen was hit with a host of other health issues. Her speech became awkwardly slow and slurred. She began hearing this white noise ringing in her ear that just wouldn't go away. And her field of vision drastically narrowed to the point where it was like she was looking through 2 toilet paper rolls. Karen's husband brought her to the hospital where she underwent this very lengthy and involved examination investigation, which involved spinal taps and brain scans to try to figure out what was going on, because at first, none of the doctors had any idea. After the testing was complete and Karen was sleeping in a hospital bed and her husband was sitting by her side, a doctor walked into the room with a clipboard, and he had this odd look on his face, like the news he was about to deliver he didn't really even understand. And so he consulted his clipboard one more time, looking at some paperwork, and then he looked up and he looked at Karen, and then he turned to Karen's husband, and he just says to him, "Sir, does your wife have any enemies?" It would turn out Karen was suffering from a severe case of mercury toxicity. Mercury is a naturally occurring metallic element that is poisonous to humans in all its forms. And Karen had so much mercury in her body, in fact, she had 80 times the toxic threshold, that doctors believed this had to have been an intentional poisoning, that someone must have attacked Karen trying to kill her with mercury. But Karen's husband said, I don't think my wife has any enemies. And then when Karen ultimately woke up, she reiterated that sentiment, that she did not have any enemies. The doctors, who knew Karen was a chemist, they asked her, have you had any recent exposure to mercury? And through slurred and difficult to understand speech, Karen would say that she had. In fact, over the last 6 months leading up to this hospital visit, Karen had had lots of exposure to mercury, because she was actually in charge of this huge $7 million research project that was looking to investigate the effects certain metals had on human health. And one of the metals she was studying was mercury. But Karen assured the doctor that anytime she handled any of these metals, she was always very, very cautious, especially when she handled mercury, because she understood how hazardous it was. She said she always wore the proper protective equipment to make sure none of the substances made contact with her skin, and she worked under this big chemical hood, which is like a big vacuum, to ensure she didn't accidentally inhale any of the toxic fumes that came off of these metals. The doctor was totally stumped and went silent for a second, and then Karen at some point broke the silence by saying, "Well, there was one time I did have a spill with mercury, but it was totally meaningless, and I haven't thought about it until just now, only because we're trying to figure out what happened." She would go on to tell the doctor about an incident that occurred 5 months earlier. She had been working at her lab at the university where she was employed when she accidentally spilled 1 or 2 tiny droplets of mercury onto the top of her left hand near her thumb. Now, she was wearing all of the prescribed protective equipment, including latex gloves on her hand, and so when she saw these droplets on her hand, she wasn't concerned for her health. She just followed procedure. She stopped what she was doing, she wiped the droplets off, and then she left her workstation, she threw away the contaminated gloves, she thoroughly washed her hands, and then put new gloves on, and then just went back to work and didn't think much of it. The type of mercury that Karen had spilled on her hand was called dimethyl mercury. This is not the same thing as the shiny silver liquid we see in old thermometers. That is a hazardous substance, but it's nothing compared to dimethyl mercury. Dimethyl mercury is a clear liquid that is considered to be one of the most toxic substances on the planet. After hearing this story from Karen, the doctor agreed that overall this did seem like a kind of meaningless event, because she had followed all the proper procedures and those droplets had landed on her gloves, not on her skin. But since they had no other leads to operate on, he thought it would still be a good idea to test to see if dimethyl mercury could penetrate through latex. And sure enough, after they ran some studies, they found it could. In fact, the latex gloves that all these scientists were told to wear when handling this particular substance, they did nothing. The dimethyl mercury would penetrate through the latex in seconds. But even though they had just solved the mystery of how Karen got mercury toxicity in the first place, what no one could understand was why Karen was still suffering from the effects.
I mean, scientist work is very important, hands down. That it is. We've got to know what things do to things. I understand. But shouldn't they have tested their safety stuff against the things that they was doing to begin with before they're like, oh yeah, this safety stuff works on this, so it automatically should work on that? I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't work in a lab. Please don't sit here and criticize my thoughts, but I'm just saying, if you're putting forth safety measures and precautions, shouldn't you test whatever it is? It's like, okay, how about we put a couple droplets on this glove, see if it goes through the glove. Let's put a couple droplets of this on this, see if it... Shouldn't you know your safety stuff protects you from the stuff that it's supposed to be protecting you from?
Of mercury toxicity if her only exposure to it was 5 months earlier, just that one time. Typically, people who have mercury toxicity, they will get better as soon as the source of their toxicity is removed. Meaning, when the mercury goes away, they get better. And it's because the mercury kind of pools in their bloodstream and their body will naturally excrete it and they'll get better. But unfortunately for Karen, it would turn out dimethylmercury is a little bit different. It's far more lipophilic than other types of mercury. Lipophilic means a chemical substance is more likely to bind and mix with fat tissue in the body. And since blood is primarily made of water, when dimethylmercury enters the body, it does not settle in the bloodstream. Instead, it settles in organs that are made up of primarily fat. And once dimethylmercury is in your organs, it takes an exponentially longer amount of time for your body to excrete it, if it ever does. Sometimes you just die from the effects of mercury toxicity before your body can get rid of it. And in Karen's case, when she showed up to the hospital, it was already too late. Some of the dimethylmercury had already made its way up to her brain, which is an organ made up of 60% fat, and there it began to destroy her central nervous system. 3 weeks after being admitted to the hospital, Karen fell into a coma. And then shortly after, one of Karen's friends was in the hospital visiting her, and she saw a tear was coming down Karen's face. And so the friend turned to the doctor and said, is she in pain? Is that why she's crying? And the doctor said, no, it doesn't appear her brain is able to register pain anymore. Karen would unfortunately never wake up from her coma. She would pass away on June 8, 1997, roughly 10 months after those little droplets of dimethylmercury landed on her latex glove.
That's freaking horrible.
In the 1850s and 1860s, Edwin Booth was the man. He was this extremely famous American actor who basically anywhere he went in America, people would know who he was. He was extremely recognizable, a household name, an A-list celebrity through and through. But his acting prowess and his career and his fame, those are not the things we remember him for. In early 1865, when Edwin was 31 years old and was at the height of his acting fame, he walked into a New Jersey train station and walked through the building to the actual platform where the trains are. And as soon as he turned a corner and actually saw the train that he wanted to board, he very quickly realized that he probably was not going to get on that train. There was already this huge throng of people out on the platform pressed up against the side of this train, and they're all waving their arms around and yelling. And in the middle of this big group of people with his back pressed up against the train was the train's conductor, whose job was to sell tickets in addition to driving the train. But from Edwin's perspective, it seemed fairly obvious based on the conductor's body language and what some of the people in the crowd were yelling that there just weren't enough tickets. That's why this big unruly group had formed, because all these people were rushing forward trying to buy one of the last few tickets. Now, Edwin could have very easily just walked up and announced himself and shown his very famous face, and almost certainly he would have gotten a ticket. But to this point, Edwin had not been recognized in this train station, and so he wanted to keep a low profile, and so he decided against that idea. Instead, he decided he would just kind of join this big group and, try to flag down the conductor and try to buy one of these tickets, and if he didn't, so be it. And so Edwin,
I don't know where this one's going, and I don't like not knowing.
Instead of going to the back of this group, he went around to the right side, close up against the side of the train, and right as he got to the outside of the group and he turned in towards the group, he looked up at where the conductor was, and he saw the conductor turning around and walking back into the train. He had clearly sold all of his tickets, and so anyone who had not purchased one yet, like Edwin, they were out of luck. They'd have to wait for the next train. Edwin was about to just walk away and wait for the next train when he noticed the crowd in front of him. They didn't disperse like he was doing. Instead, they all seemed to kind of surge forward towards the train, which was now moving. And as they pushed forward, as if they were going to jump onto this train, even though they didn't have tickets, one man who was towards the front of this group, right up against the train, he falls to the ground and gets trapped halfway under the train. His lower half was literally on the tracks under the train, and his upper half is now under this big crowd of people that are now trampling him. And so Edwin can see very clearly that if someone does not grab this guy and pull him out soon, he's going to get run over by the train. And so Edwin, without any hesitation, he jumps forward onto the ground on the platform, and he reaches his hand out through the feet of all these people in this crowd, and he grabs the collar of the guy who had fallen, and he pulls him. And as he's pulling him, this guy who's on his back, he starts pushing with his legs and his feet, and within about a fraction of a second, they yank him out from under the train, and the guy who had fallen and Edwin are lying on their backs on the platform, and before they could even talk to each other, they sat up and watched as a big train wheel rolled over that piece of track where this guy had just been laying. Edwin had saved his life. The guy he had saved was a 21-year-old named Robert. And so the two of them, they stand up and they face each other for the first time. And when Robert sees Edwin, he gasps because this is Edwin Booth, the mega celebrity. He could not believe that was the guy who had just saved him. And while Robert was very thankful, he also was just totally dumbfounded at the absurdity of the situation he was in. And so eventually Edwin just says, hey, I'm glad I was here to help you. No big deal. Next time be more careful. And then at some point, the men just shook hands and parted ways. Edwin would eventually get on the next train and he would go wherever it was he needed to go. And before long, his very busy schedule kind of occupied his mind and he'd kind of forgotten about what happened on the train platform. But a few days later, Edwin got a letter in the mail from a very high-ranking government official thanking him for saving Robert's life. Because it would turn out Robert Lincoln was the eldest son of the then President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Now, to be clear, Edwin was extremely famous and had lots and lots of influence and knew lots of very important people, but he had never had any interaction with anyone in the Lincoln family before he met Robert on the train platform. So it was just a crazy coincidence that this mega...
What? That's cool.
A celebrity happened to save the life of the president's son. But this coincidence was nothing compared to the coincidence that occurred next. On the evening of April 14th, 1865, so roughly 3 months after Edwin saved Robert, Robert's father, President Lincoln, sat down in a private seating area to watch a play at a Washington, D.C. theater. During the production, at around 10:15 p.m., a man snuck into the private seating area and shot the president to death. The killer was Edwin's younger brother, John Wilkes Booth. This assassination had nothing to do with Edwin or his interaction with Robert on the train platform. This was an assassination that was formulated and carried out completely independently, meaning it was purely coincidence that just a few months after Edwin saved a Lincoln's life, his own brother took a Lincoln's life. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found this...
What? What? Yeah. Bye. I mean, I don't know. What? So the older brother of the dude that killed Abraham Lincoln saved Abraham Lincoln's eldest son from being killed by a train. And within a few days, the younger brother killed Abraham Lincoln. All right. Okay, everyone. That's it for me. I'm in the... Yeah, I love it. Mr. Ballen. Dude. That's crazy. All right. If you're a fan of the spooky, scary Stranger's Range, think about subscribing and leave a thumbs up. It really tends to help these days. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Stay spooky.